What's going on, everybody? Brett here, back playing some more Total War Warhammer 2 multiplayer. Going to be joined by my friend Triari today. He had a great idea, and something I wanted to share with you guys. I recorded this because of how fun it was, and it was such a new idea. I haven't seen anyone else do this that I thought, yeah, let me share it with the rest of y'all. So his idea was that we each pick a faction for each other, that we then each pick a unit that we have to build around, and then we also picked the lore of magic. So he was kind enough to let me go first. I know how he loves to play the elves, so I kind of counterpicked him, and I was like, you know what? Bloody Hand. Play the Bloody Hand. That's your faction. I want you to bring a giant, and I want you to bring the Little Wa, or the Goblin lore of magic. So he did that. He has a Goblin Shaman as his lord, which I think was a great choice. He brought a front line of Black Orcs and Orc Boys and 4 units of Trolls, guys. Trolls absolutely wreck the Tombkings. They're great against the constructs, they beat down their infantry, and Giants honestly are pretty great as well. Black Orcs, of course, are universally good. Some nasty Skulkers that I can't see yet, 2 groups of them, that is, and then some Orc Boar Chariots. A unit you don't get to see very often in the meta, but they definitely have their place. As far as Chariots go, they're a little pricey for their stats, but against the Tombkings, I think they are certainly viable. So that's a pretty simple army. That's very straightforward. He's going to be looking to get into my front line and beat me down, but I have a pretty complex army myself. I've got a front line of super cheap skeleton warriors, standard, some skeleton spears out on the flanks. I have the King Nikesh's Scorpion Legion here guarding my rear because I was concerned about some sort of, Vanguard deployment shenanigans, and I also wanted to make sure I have the high ground because at the end of the day I figured I would have the ranged advantage because my lord was Grand Hierophant Katep because of course the faction that Triari chose for me uh, was Grand Hierophant Katep's faction, which is it the followers of, no, it's the Exiles, I believe, of Nehek. I forget what their faction name is. But that basically lent me towards Grand Hierophant Katep because he also chose the lore of Nehekara for me to use. So that was just kind of an all-in-one package. Put him on the Casket of Souls, use some cheap spells from the lore of Nehekara, but also try and make use of his bound Skullstorm as well as his castable Skullstorm. Unfortunately, he didn't really play into my hands with that because he doesn't have a lot of infantry for me to drop those on. I have 1 Ushabti Great Bows here, kind of taking up a very defensive position along this cliff, being protected by the spearmen. They're going to start shooting quite shortly. I've got 3 groups of skeleton archers. I think one of them is the Blessed Legion, and it sure is with their armor sundering. I also have the Kepra Guard, which I find to be pretty dang good against the Greenskins, especially Savage Orcs. Not so good against the Black Orcs, but they do tear through any type of physical resistance because they do magical damage. They also regenerate and cause fear. So against the Savage Orcs, they are an excellent pick, and the Casket of Souls is already launching its deadly barrage into the front line there. I've got some carrion just in case there was any sort of flying shenanigans or if I needed a quick action force to try and protect my back line. I have a Noble here because the unit that Triari forced me to use, honestly one of my favorites in the game, is the Hyro Titan. So for those of you who don't know, the Hyro Titan works excellent with Grand Hierophant Katep because it has a bound ability, if we can get to it, the Spirit Conduit. So it increases power reserves and power recharge rate just by existing. He also can use 1 instance of Spirit Leech as well as 2 instances of Shim's Burning Gaze. And we're going to go toe-to-toe with the Titan with the help of those magical abilities, some of the protective spells of the Lord Nehekara, especially Nero's Incantation of Protection for that 44% physical resistance, and the passive, whenever we cast, we are going to be getting heals. So, and the Noble is also going to be using just Restore, and with his Chariot, he's going to be quite good at dealing with the Black Orcs, the Orc Boys, and then last but not least, the Eyes of the Desert, who are currently invisible. They're hidden because they do have Stalk. So check out these bad boys. They have poison ranged attacks. They have magical damage on those attacks as well, but they're mainly anti-large, and they're kind of my secret weapon against the trolls. Right now I'm shooting those Ushabti bows at these trolls, trying to take them down. Killing unit models makes it so that they can't really regenerate effectively. All of my arrow fire going to these trolls who got a little bit ahead of themselves, but once they get into charge range, they speed up. and they're absolutely going to beat the brakes off of my skeleton warriors. It's not even going to be close. And yeah, you'll see they're bowling them over, but I'm able to pull in reserves. I kept the King Kesha Scorpion Legion in the rear as long as I could, and we barely managed to catch the trolls there, but I was also worried about these Orc Boar Chariots. This is not my finest micro, but it was all about just covering this gap, trying to keep them from pushing straight through into my Blessed Legion. Forced to engage with the Kepler Guard in somewhat unfavorable situation, but this is what we all came here for. The Hyro Titan versus Giant matchup. And I got a Shim's Burning Gaze and a Life Leech off of them as he was engaging. Oh, and he shoots him in the face with the laser eyes. I love that. And the Giant will win this. His stats are definitely superior. 600 weapon strength versus 550. I've managed to keep my Ushapti still firing, but it looks like the trolls are going to break through. Skullstorm going off, trying to catch some of these Black Orcs. And it's going to do a little bit of damage there. It's going to catch some of these nasty Skulkers as well. And at the end of the day, if it kills a few of my skeletons, I don't really care. They're so much cheaper, and they're not going to break. Grand Hierophant Katep able to stay in this pocket while my Eyes of the Desert, the Sepulchral Stalkers, I always stumble on saying that name, are trying to pull down these Orc Boar Chariots and stop them from running wild in my back line, but a Curse of the Bad Moon going off of my Blessed Legion. Some of my archers have managed to stabilize. We're chasing trolls off the battlefield. Another Skullstorm, going to be ripping into these nasty Skulkers and Black Orcs, and some much needed healing is going off. The Realm of Souls is crossed. I'm going to be able to summon some Ushapti to come and help me. Big blast from the Casket of Souls, up to 148 kills. And the Goblin Shaman is going to run into the back to shut down my archers. Where did my Ushapti summon go? I'm sure they'll pop up in just a second here. There they are. So they popped up behind the Black Orcs. They're going to be here just in time to intercept the trolls and fight them. But I was losing this fight. I had to continuously cast Neru's Incantation to keep him alive, and also continue to use Shim's Burning Gaze on whatever targets I could. I already used my one Spirit Leech, as I said. So once I was able to fold up this front line, I wanted it to be a fair Titan on Titan battle. So I tried not to help out too much, but now, with King Kesha Scorpion Legion coming in, applying that special poison damage that they have, this Giant is not going to have much of a chance. And another Curse of the Bad Moon going off on them while they're grouped up. And it's such a wild vortex spell that it's really hard to control. Pulling back my archers, trying to get my spearmen onto this Goblin Shaman, but it looks like routing is taking hold. The Eyes of the Desert are chasing off 2 units of chariots. And that's going to be it. Super fun game. And a really fun idea from Chiari. If you have a buddy that you play with on ladder, try this out. You know, just pick something ridiculous and make them play it and let them do that to you, because that was some of the most fun I've had playing Total Warhammer 2 in quite some time. Keeping it fresh, making it a challenge, and forcing yourself and your friends to play outside of your comfort zone. But anyway, guys, that's going to be it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, my name is Brett, and my channel is Goodtalk Gaming. You can find me on Steam if you want to send me replays. Just add me, and I'll be happy to shoot you an email. You can do that at. If you're considering subscribing and you haven't already, please consider doing it. Just go ahead. Just hit the button, and yeah, you'll be able to listen to me talk whenever you want. All right, y'all. Take care. That's it. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Later.